Today is Wednesday, December 10th, and yesterday was Tuesday, December 9th, and I did not record a video yesterday. So much has happened that it's going to be hard to remember it all. I did write some things down, so I'm going to have to go get my bag here in a minute. And this is quite warm and fuzzy here. But yesterday, when I got home, it was probably like 7 o'clock or something like that, maybe a little earlier, and I played with my dogs a little bit, and I just laid down on the couch for a minute, and I got really tired. So, I mean, a lot did happen earlier, but I ended up just going to sleep at like 8 or something. And then I woke up at like 2 in the morning, and then I went back to sleep again. And then I got up for a minute. I set the alarm for like 10:30, so I'd be able to like do a few things instead of just running out the door to the soup kitchen. And then when the alarm went off, I got up and I listened to a few videos and kind of relaxed a bit before I got ready, and then I left. So anyways, a lot happened. I've got 2 days worth of information here. So let me go get, or actually, before I get into anything, something happened like it was not yesterday, 2 or 3 days ago. And at the soup kitchen, there's a line. And if the line's long enough, you'll walk past a podium. And before lunch, then a lot of times they do a prayer. I don't know, they probably do it every time. And the place actually is named after a Christian saying anyways. And I do know a lot of religious organizations do donate to the soup kitchen. So I don't think it's been effective at all, but they are trying to proselytize to the people going there. But I don't think it's really effective, and it's not necessarily what they need. But I see a man there who, it looks like he's doing a good job and trying, and but anyways, if this does inspire somebody, then that's good. They had a good message to do today. But anyways, a few days ago, as I walk past, there's a Bible on that podium, and it's opened. And then it says 772 on, so I just looked at the page numbers, because I see like 17s, and I sometimes see like 22s. So one page said 772, and then the other page said 774. So I guess the middle of that would be 773. They had the Bible opened to a specific verse, and I don't know what page that was on. And it was missing 773 because that was in the middle. So the pages didn't, they weren't the same. So I think they were going off of like maybe a different version where the pages were, or they were having 2 pages on, so one page was 2 pages, if that makes sense. I think that's what it was. Maybe there's 2 columns, and the second column is like 773. So then I figured, and I looked at it for a second, but there's no way I could have found this verse just walking past without getting out of line and reading all of it. So 7 plus 7 plus 3 is 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 right there. So I don't think I put this on there the other day. So I bet that Bible verse that they spoke about was on page 773. But if not, it was still open on 772 and 774. But anyways, a lot did happen. Some things happened yesterday. Last video, I was complaining a bit about Brightspeed. And the guy that came here, and then the more I think about it, the more I realize God puts me in certain situations to teach me and to know how to deal with enemies and to learn, like, to train me to, like, what kind of enemies are there, what do they do. And in this case, I realized this was likely an attack. So, there was a Brightspeed person that came to my house. Of course, it's after I got home for lunch, and I had some stuff to do. I was going to try to find an item that I sold to ship, so I didn't have time to find them both, and then I had to run out the door because this guy was a time waster. He was a time waster. And he might have blocked me from something else. Maybe there was something else I was supposed to do. Like maybe God had another mission or another person I was supposed to meet. And then this man was sent to my door to block me and stop me. So anyways, I canceled my order and he lost all his money and he had to sit on my front porch almost an hour for nothing. Anyways, the Kingdom of Darkness, if they paid him to do this, then he would have gotten reimbursed. He doesn't need, like, if they pay him $60 some or something to come to my house, they will reimburse him for wasting my time and probably sabotaging something. That's what they do. They do this crap. So I was thinking about it. When he first showed up, like, normally I send the people away politely, but actually was interested because my internet and phone together is like $150, almost $150 a month. It's really high. So out of all the bills in this town, like the electric seems fair, the gas is lower than I thought it would be. The water, it seems a little higher, but it has the trash on it too. And I think the trash service here is a little better than where I came from. All that stuff, I guess, is reasonable. But I thought the internet was way too high. And so when they came, I said, actually, I'm kind of interested in this. But then when I had to go back in and I had to look, and he kept sending it wrong, and he had a little cell phone, and he was kind of arrogant, like the Disney prince. And he wasn't just that. So when he finally sent it, and I went and I saw they had 2 gig, and I said, wait, you have other speeds? He didn't tell me. He just told me 1. So for $10 a month, I get twice the speed. So then I said, just send me the 2 gig, okay? And when I come back, I gotta find something, then I'll fill it out. Well, I filled it out, I accepted it, and then it turns out that I was supposed to get a $200 gift card with this Brightspeed order, and then he put $100. So this guy was an enemy. He wasted a bunch of my time. He kept sending the order wrong. I had stuff to do. Now I have an order that's late. I could have responded to the customer a whole day sooner. I might have been able to meet somebody as if I left on time. I hardly had any time at the gym. I flew to the gym. I wanted to do something there. I hardly had any time there because this man wasted all my time. And then I was still a couple minutes late, I think, for the soup kitchen dinner, which I'm usually a couple minutes late. That's not a huge deal, but like if you want to get seconds, then they call it at a certain time, and you're usually still eating unless you're there right on time. So anyways, and it's not like a huge deal, but they don't want to be hanging out late. These people are all volunteers. Maybe like the main person there gets paid or something, I don't know. But for the most part, the people there volunteer. They're not getting paid. So you want to be respectful, and they come, they clean the tables, they do all types of things. So they want to get home soon too, and you can't be there past closing time. Anyways, this man was a time waster, and also, like, on my covered porch, as you come up the steps, there's like an area where I have pillars on my covered porch, and then there's one area where there's no pillar, and then it's just like a big square which you can use as like a table. And I had like some garden shears and some gloves there, and like some screws. And then I gave him like my phone number, and I gave him like my email so he could send me this thing. Just so he could look at the paper and make sure it was right, because he put it in wrong the first time. And then I handed it to him. And then he went over there. And then also on this square table was some really old, I think it was like raccoon, or I think it was raccoon poop. Like a pile of raccoon poop right on there. And we're in the winter. It probably been sitting there for like a month or so. You know, it's been snowing. I don't really go on my covered porch, so but there was a pile of raccoon poop. So while he went there and he was looking at the paper and entering the information in his phone, then the raccoon poop, I'm pretty sure it's raccoon poop. Okay, it started to decompose and break down, so it wasn't completely obvious what it was. So while he's there, he kind of pinches it with his fingers and he touches it. Like, because it looked like it might just be dirt. But this was wild animal poop. It got up on my porch and pooped on my pillar. The raccoon pooped on there, and he pooped on there. So then this man, after he wasted my time, and then sent me a $100 gift card instead of a $200, just like their website says. Like, he manually had to enter it wrong, and then he still couldn't add my phone line. And I said, well, as long as they make sure I can get my phone when they come to install it. But he was new, so anyways, then he made sure when it was time to leave, that finger that touched the poop, he made sure to reach that hand out. So I had to shake his hand. So then I sprayed my hand off. Like, I've got this disinfectant cleaner right here. This stuff kills poop germs. So it's actually, this is what I used. Genie's Green Max Pro. This stuff is all natural. It's not harmful. It's made from plant oils. And I can guarantee this works. If you have something sticky with residue, spray it, it comes right off. And anything that smells horrible, like, it just makes it smell fresh and clean. Like, you can drink it. So if your hands smell bad, you spray a little bit, they smell perfectly clean. This actually cleans, like a lot of cleaners kill, this actually cleans. So I sprayed some of this on my hand and I'm like, ugh. So that's another sign, is these spirits and these enemies are disgusting. They're gross. They touch poop, and then they want you to touch the poop. They want to contaminate your stuff. So you want to know somebody is an evil spirit. If they touch a toilet or something, then they go to touch your fridge. There's an evil spirit operating in that person. And a lot of these bacteria and germs actually are spirits. They're small little spirits that can make you sick, spirits of infirmity. And so they want to transmit their demons. But anyways, you can pray some of these things away. But, like, once you know somebody is an enemy, you need to cut it off. Like, I'm having even trouble because, like, I know what the normal social cues are. And I don't want to be rude. But, like, he was kind of, and he didn't seem like he was trying. He said, I'm new, and, you know, well, maybe he was. Maybe he just lied like they all do. Maybe he just lied like the rest of them and wasted my time, touched his finger into poop, and then went to shake my hand with his poop hand. And then I was supposed to get a $200 gift card. On the order, it only said $100. And then, so then later, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, shoot. I realized he entered it in wrong. And so then I called their customer service, and then it went through, and I got a hold, and it seemed fine, but they said, you need to talk to somebody during business hours. Call back tomorrow. They had just closed, like, within the hour. And so then I called back. I call back again, and I find something out. I find out that they cannot change my order. They can't update it. The only thing they can do is cancel it and do it again. The only thing they can do is cancel my entire order. And it's like, you can't change it? Like, I don't know exactly what I don't know. This was like yesterday or something. So, anyways, they could not change my order. So the only thing, they said they just wanted to cancel the order and put in a new one. And I went to their website, actually, while the guy was here. And they were giving me $79.99 per month, plus a $200 gift card for the 2 gig. Okay, so then once they canceled it, then I was no longer a new customer, even though it was only pending and it never went through. So then anyways, I was trying to, like, this woman on the phone, I don't know if she's from the United States or not. She could have been foreign, or she could have been from the U.S. She could have been an immigrant living in the United States. I don't know. She had a little bit of an accent, so I'm not sure. But this is not a good sign. So this is what I figured out with Brightspeed. I think later it could be a good service, but I went to Facebook and I looked it up for my town, and everything was a negative review. People said they had outages for 4 days. And then I talked to the woman on the phone, and, like, if I didn't sign up for the phone right then, too, then they couldn't do it that day. They'd have to do it later. And then I'd be without a phone right when I've got a trial and everything and all this important stuff lined up where I need to have my phone. So I know what this man was sent to do. I might have had another mission I was supposed to do, and then he, like, wasted, like, almost an hour of my time. I didn't have time to ship. I might have missed something I was supposed to do. So now this is another lesson from God. When they come to my door, no thank you. And then I looked it up. I could have, he didn't even know how much it cost. He said, it's about like $100 a month or something. I looked, it said $79.99. So then I had to cancel it. And then they still needed, like, my, like, the port number and stuff from my current internet provider in order to transfer my phone number. And this is why they couldn't do it before. So this is God involved in all of this. I don't know this. I would have to call who I'm paying now to find this stuff out. But anyways, then when I went to just sign up for it myself, and I said, fine, I'll get the phone later. I'll just sign up for myself so I can get the $79.99 a month, and I can get $200 gift card. Well, then the website changed, and it updated to $89.99 a month. $89.99 a month, because I guess they recognized my address. I was no longer a new customer. And then this woman on the phone can do nothing. She can't do anything. She can't change my order. She can't change the price to what I was just quoted. She can do nothing. And I looked, and I don't see any location either. And I saw a lot of bad reviews that they have outages, and they said, you will regret it. People changed back from them. So maybe in the future it'll be fine. But right now, it's horrible. So this guy was probably sent to screw up my internet so it would go out for days, and my phone is on my internet, so I wouldn't have any way to call people. I don't have a cell phone. So yeah, it was cheaper, and I could have saved $50 a month. But right now, when I've got a trial, and I've got like possibly charities that might help, I cannot lose my phone. So this man was an enemy. Well, guess what? You wasted my time, I wasted yours, and you thought you were going to get some money coming here? You lost it all. And actually, I kind of felt bad even when he was here, and I saw if I signed up for it, I could have got cash back. I got this thing on my browser that gives me cash back. It was almost $65 cash back. Then I would have got $79.99 per month, and I would have got a $200 gift card if I signed up myself. No, this man came, and so I lost all of that. And essentially, like, I guess it would have went up to $89.99 a month. So if you have 12 months a year, and that's $10 more, that's $120 more a month. So at that point, I'm sticking with Spectrum. I'm keeping it for now, because I think that this is not the time to risk not having the internet or the phone. I have so much stuff going on every day. It's very important I have access to these things. I do not have a cell phone. The landlines are even voice over IP. So just like my Google Voice, that's also voice over IP. That means it works off of the internet. So if that goes out, I have no communication. I have to like bike down to McDonald's and ask if I can use their phone. Like, and they've let me use it before. But this is ridiculous. Then I can't see if someone's contacted me. I can't check up on my court case. I can't see anything. I can't see if a charity has texted me. Nothing. Nothing. So anyways, like that guy, he lost his commission. And the funny thing is, if he didn't enter it wrong, I might have been stuck with Brightspeed, and I would have saved some money, but possibly screwed myself over. Anyways, I'm going to look at my notes for yesterday, yesterday was the 9th. I put a few things on this. This is a notepad document, so see. So I did write the Bible page was open to, like, the numbers added up to 17. I think it had to be 773. What was the average of those two numbers? And then I went into the bike office because somebody just stole the light off of my bike. Someone just stole my bike light. So I went into there and I talked to the guy, and he seems like a good guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm veiled. But I think he's a good man in there. And he reviewed the footage. I was able to see where the cameras are positioned. And so that was helpful. But like the color of the building next to it, it completely concealed this. So knowing some of these spirits can leave the body and can view the cameras, they know what they'll get caught for and what they can get away with. And that camera was black, and then there was a black wall on the other side of my bike, so you just couldn't even really see who took it. And then I parked on the other side for lunch, and I think that's when it was probably taken, and that was on my handlebars, and that was just right out of the camera view. So, anyways, I did tell the man in there. And then I mentioned something like, that's too bad, because I just got that light for my birthday. And then after we left there, then they did the prayer. They did the prayer before lunch. And so I just mentioned, that's too bad, because I just got that for my birthday. And then right at the beginning of, the same man came out, and he did a prayer, and I think someone else did. And then before he said the prayer, he said, happy birthday to someone. So it was somebody's birthday, and he was telling them happy birthday. So maybe that's like a confirmation. This was all planned and meant to happen. Because I just told him I got it for my birthday. He walks out, and first thing he's saying, happy birthday to some person that's there. So anyways, there was this man and another man there, who I heard is not a pastor or preacher. He's a local evangelist. And he was wearing the red shirt. Just like the pastor at the previous church I went to, he was a Pharisee, and so in our last confrontation, he was wearing red, and I was wearing white. Okay, so I didn't notice what the other man was wearing. He probably had a windbreaker jacket on. But this man, okay, so he did his prayer, and his prayer was good, for the most part. It might have been a few little things, but it was a good message, and it would be pretty close to the truth. I couldn't really complain about that, because he actually worships God and doesn't do this whole blood sacrifice thing, which is very dangerous. Very dangerous. If you knew how serious, like, if you knew how serious this was for all these people to be alcoholics and addicts, like right now they are on the wrong side. They are on the devil's team, and they are actually coming against the believers. They're actually the enemy of the believers. Because they possess themselves with spirits. They idolize these spirits because they follow their laws. So their law is to get the fix. They lie, cheat, steal, prostitute themselves. So they are idol worshipping. Okay, they are on the enemy's team. And so this other evangelist comes up, and he's wearing the red. So as I said, the last meeting at the church, that Pharisee, he was wearing red, and I was wearing white. Okay, this time there was the man that worked in the office at the soup kitchen. He had a good message. Then another man stood up right after him and gave another message. And I remember I shook my head no while he said something. I don't know if I made a sound, but it wasn't very obvious. But anyways, this man lied. This man lied to the people there. And he was repeating the false epistles of Paul. This is idol worship. It's the opposite of what God and what Jesus wanted us to do. So he was basically saying, by the blood sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and we go, he basically died so we can go to heaven, or to erase our sins or something. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said this type of thing. That's false. That's false. Like everybody in there, maybe a couple aren't, maybe some are crazy. I don't know. But, it's good if some of them can repent. That's great. But what I'm saying is, addicts and alcoholics will not inherit the kingdom of God. And he walks in there and says this lie to them. If they knew how serious this was, they'd be trying everything they could, passing legislation that would actually kidnap these people off the street and actually heal them and get them the detox and the treatments they need. They need to be healed, because right now they're going to hell. I'm serious. I'm serious, and we don't want anybody to go to hell. The government, and they let these people, they want to just let them walk around as addicts and alcoholics. They can't help themselves. You know how hard that is. It's the right thing to do is to heal them, to get them in a facility. They're not of sound mind. Do you want to, what if they die or something? Then they go to hell. You want to save these people. So anyways, the message this man said was ridiculous, and it was false. And I heard he's coming back. He's going to be back, and so will I. So will I. Now, God will inspire me what to say or what to bring. It can't be too much, but something that makes it clear without directly stating. This man was a liar. And this is how a lot of the enemies come. They come as priests, they come as pastors, they come as evangelists, and they are lying. You cannot come in front of a bunch of addicts and tell them that Jesus died so we can go to heaven, because they're not going to heaven unless they need help. They need help to get off these drugs. So this is insane. But anyways, he was wearing red. Let that be a little sign to you. But I think some will repent, and that's good. I hope as many of them as possible. Actually, if Trump opens these mental institutions, and then just by law it brings in all the addicts, everybody that's addicted to drugs, brings them in and heals them and cures them, and then removes the supply, then these people will have a chance, and they'll probably be just fine, because I heard they don't steal, and they're not out fighting and stuff when they're not on the drugs. This is when they're on the drugs. So that's because they're being possessed by spirits, and that's the way these spirits behave. So anyways, one thing though is that this pastor in the red did say something that they teach me. God teaches me through them too, and their messages. And he also was talking about Jesus, and Jesus shows us how to live. So Christ comes to earth to show us as an example how to live. And this is something we all might know. But when he said that, and there are messages that are sent to me, the Christ, so you're to join Christ, to be a member of the end times, the end times army. We are to try to behave like Christ, to be a good example for others. So this is like, why am I here? Am I supposed to do something? No, you're supposed to be an example. How do I behave? How do I treat people? What do I do in this situation? And they have a good example when everything else is a bad example. Here they have a good example. So I think that's it. I don't do anything at all. Let's see here. So also when I was in line, there was a woman, Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. That's not really a big thing. It's just the woman right in front of me started talking to somebody else, and they stopped us. You're in a line, and I waited a minute and went around. So I don't know if that was trying to cause a little trouble. Not a huge deal, but they do this stuff to me to see how I'll react and try to provoke me. That's what I'm saying. So, anyways, the woman I met previously, who was concerned about me, and she gave me $2 at the church. She was at the soup kitchen today. And this time, I believe witchcraft had been used on her. The whole coven was watching me at this church, and they were doing a bunch of spiritual warfare. They also cast spells on other people. So they saw I was talking to her. They knew she was concerned about me, and I had a trial coming up, and that she might be my ride. So basically, they cast spells, and she even said, "Oh, I didn't recognize her." And then she seemed a little turned off by me this time. This is witchcraft they used, but it's also God, because God didn't want her to drive me. God wanted someone else to take me. So, that other person that's going to take me is my father. My father is now going to take me. But I wanted her to take me because I would thought to be obedient, I'm supposed to leave my enemies behind. Um, he always had a very dear place in my heart, but he was working against me these years. But I don't know that he wanted to. You know, many people that flipped, it was because they had a choice to make. You know, you want to stay alive and be able to help your other kids, then you got to work for us now. That's what I'm saying. Like, so even though they're an enemy, hopefully they can repent. I mean, if I can save Ahab, like not me, but God working can get these spirits to repent and not go to hell, then great. So anyways, give me a sec. I gotta blow my nose. Got my notes open. I don't like how bright that is. It has like a weird reflection on my video, but um, oh man. So so witchcraft was used on this. This is the woman that I spoke to before, and it even seemed like she might possibly get me a ride to my trial or be able to help me find someone who would. But none of that. So she saw me and she had told someone else about me. And then when she saw me, she said, "Oh, I didn't recognize her." So they cast a spell over me. This is one thing they do to make you look bad. Not even like physically ugly. They do that. They do show your beauty. But like to make you look like you're not as good of a person. They'll cast these spells or the way other people see you. But anyways, and then while I was at this church, this is the one with the rock music, there was a guest speaker who spoke most of the time. And the coven was operating in this church the whole time. There was an entire coven in there walking back and forth and operating, trying to get me. Because the church was not protected. But anyways, there was a guest speaker. He seemed like, see, I don't know, because God veils me until I learn. But he really seemed like a good man. He seemed like a believer. Um, Now, I wasn't like super inspired by the message or anything because I was like, it was just your normal message, not really learn anything, but he seemed like a good man. But the thing is, I was under spiritual warfare. I was under spiritual warfare, and they were using love magic on me. I'm like, it was like they used as much love magic as you could get. I believe they turned it up to like 100, and so like that's what. But he did seem like a good man. And so it also turns out this man is a Haitian migrant. And this was also planned. So the day that the coven wants me to go to this church is the day that there's a Haitian migrant as the guest speaker who is speaking instead of the regular pastors. And then the next time I see this woman who might have been my ride, then this is brought up. And so they're hoping that, and then they also used a spell to make me a little bit repulsive or something. I don't know. Just not, because she really liked me when she first met me. That was before the witchcraft was used, so I know. I can tell. And then she's like, "Oh, I didn't recognize her." Yeah, because they cast a spell over me in the way that she sees me. This is what's done. Kingdom of Darkness does this a lot. But for the true believers, then this can't happen. But hardly any. There's maybe 1%. I don't know. There's a chosen few that are immune to these attacks. But most are not. But also it's God. You know, God has a specific plan for us and a way for us to do things. So even if something might be a good option, then it's blocked from us because it's not the best option. So anyways, and then she was talking about, the pastor. We talked a lot, Well, not a whole lot, just a couple minutes. She didn't come sit down at my table. She was actually at the side table past the coffee, and she was serving, like, they usually have a couple other things that didn't fit, like, behind the other. So there's a regular counter that you go down. and then you get your drink cup, and then there's a sidewall. You go down there, and then they have water, and in the morning they have coffee, and then past that, then there's another table set up where sometimes they've got like soup or a couple more sides that didn't fit, or they weren't things that were freshly cooked that they were brought around. And so she was at this table, and we talked a little bit, and she told me she's got a little dog, and she seems like a nice woman, but witchcraft had been used against her, and so anyways, she was talking about the Haitian migrant. This was another setup trying to get me. They were trying to get me. I would say something offensive to her, and then she would no longer like me and not want to help me at all, because she looked like a potential ally. This is what they were doing too. They brought me to that specific church the day she was there, and then it was orchestrated for the Haitian migrant to speak. And then we would meet again, and she would bring up the Haitian migrant. I say the wrong thing, and then we don't have any. She doesn't really like me anymore. I'm just the same as everybody else. But she did see favor in me to begin with, and this is what always happens. But I think I just have to speak the truth and just never be helped. I don't know. I should just speak the truth, and no one gives a shit anyways. But anyways, he did seem like a good man, and she's like really. She was concerned and said he's got they think he's gonna get sent back to Haiti, and she was really upset about this. And I said, did he file his paperwork? And she's like, yeah, we're trying to get him to. And I said, well, I know it's not something you want to hear, but if he does have to leave, then when you leave your friends and family, you leave everything. Then God promises to bless you, and He's going to get double what he lost before. And I was trying to mention and then also said how Haiti's going to be restored too, not just the United States. God's restoring the whole world. And I said God controls everything. It's just real fast. And then of course she's not very happy. And then she's not very happy about this. And she said he does a lot of good. He how she said he's an asset, and he teaches the Haitian. He's teaching he's teaching two groups of Haitian children here in the United States, and see, the Kingdom of Darkness, they have this as a setup, so if I say something wrong, she doesn't like me. But I'm not trying to say something wrong. This could be a good man. And she said he was brought here to the United States. He got a degree. I don't know if he got a master's. He got a bachelor's degree probably here in the United States. And he's speaking in the churches, and he's teaching Haitian children in the United States. She said he's an asset, and, they didn't want to lose him. And I said, well, that's the thing about politicians, these politicians. And then they stood there in suspense, waiting for what I was going to say, whether they would hate it or whether they would agree with it. And I said, they make decisions that impact people's lives. They had no opinion, because, yeah, I don't know what she agreed. So then they weren't upset. So they were sitting there waiting. Do I agree with this? Do I disagree with this? And I said, they make decisions that impact people's lives. Really, I'm against what the Biden administration did, actually, because they put people in this situation now. They put people, now they've moved here, and then they've gotten comfortable, and now they have to go, and it's because Biden brought all these people in. Okay, it wasn't really Biden, but anyways. But, yeah, they can be an asset, and no one's saying they aren't. But I also said, it's horrible what's been done to Haiti, and, God, if that gets fixed, just saying, and they didn't, and they were thinking about it, they never considered. That's horrible what's happened in Haiti, and, they say, but if he does have to go back, then God will bless him, it's a promise. And they didn't, and she didn't, she kind of accepted it, but she didn't really like it. And that's the truth. It says God plans everything, it's not up to us, it's up to God, And I'll say, I wasn't even thinking about this at the time, but, he comes to the United States, he gets a degree, he's now teaching, and when Haiti gets rebuilt, they're going to need people to rebuild their own country. They're going to need good people there. They're going to need people to rebuild Haiti. So God knows where they're needed. And I know it can almost be a little selfish, but that's my Haitian. That's mine. I don't want him to go. But it's not up to us. There's people in our past, we want them, but they don't belong to us. And maybe God knows where they're needed the most. But anyways, I'm not against anybody. Actually, some of the Haitians living around me, I didn't really like, but because I went to try to say hello to them, and then they just sat there and they didn't even get up, and they're like, and they were really rude to me. So, but a lot of people probably are rude to me. So I tried to say hello to them, and then I tried to say hello to some other, and then they spoke in Haitian, I think, and then we couldn't communicate. So that was a problem. But anyways, I want the best for them, and I want their own country to be restored. I want them to have wealth and prosperity and like justice in their own country. And what the Clintons have done there is atrocious as well. I'm just gonna say. Um, let's see. But yeah, he seemed like a good man. It's just I had a lot of warfare going on at the time, so I couldn't really get too much into any message. Anyways, let's see. Oh, of course, they were using a lot of witchcraft on me. So one of the items I sold, like 2 items, one is missing again. This is always witchcraft, like in my whole store. I know where 95% of stuff is, what sells. Okay, this is when they use witchcraft. Because what I think happened is my narcissist, and one of my daughters is a narcissist, they stole some of my stuff, and they saw, like, some things that were broken. And so if they have the item that was stolen, then they, like, inspire somebody, like, that's a Satanist to purchase that item. I know this sounds nuts, or they inspire somebody sees the item and they want it. And they know that I don't have it because they stole it. I mean, this is nuts, but like I had almost 10 items, almost every item in a row has a problem like that. So it's clearly witchcraft. So they steal my stuff, so they know what item I'm going to have an issue with if it sells, trying to sabotage my business. So anyway, let's see. And I went to the gym, and I was a little down, and the employee there, like, she was actually really nice today. Maybe she knew. Like, I wasn't, like, sad, but I just was not in as good a mood, and, she asked how I was doing. I said, oh, it could be better, could be worse. She saw I was a little unhappy, so she was being really nice to me, so I appreciate that. Let's see. Then I went back to the soup kitchen, so I went to the gym, and then, I wasn't there very long, and then I went from the gym to the soup kitchen. And then there weren't like people trying to really get me this time, but maybe they were trying to annoy me. So there's always something going on. So of course the man like sitting 2 or 3 seats down. I try to sit in a seat that's kind of open that doesn't have people right next to it. So I don't want to just sit right next down to somebody. I go to a place that's kind of got an open spot, an opening. And so then this man who's sitting like 2 or 3 seats down, he's got his cell phone out. That's nice. A person at the soup kitchen with a cell phone, and I heard another guy come in, and he was talking about the deal, like the Black Friday deal on these Skechers. It was one pair was $49 and another was $1, and then he's in the soup kitchen eating. So he just bought. He was sad he missed it. He was going to spend $50 on shoes, and I said, well, I got some shoes. They were like $22 or $23 at Walmart, and yeah, sometimes we do. I said, I just bought this watch. I just bought this, but before then, I hadn't had a watch in like 20 years. I got some used pieces that I got to sell in my store, and I took out, and they didn't have working batteries, so, I'd have to put a battery in anyway. So I got myself a new watch. But it'd been 20 years before then, before I had a watch. So, that's what I mean. And, like, the new tennis shoes, that was the first one. So this is what I'm saying. They're kind of admitting, like, we don't really have to, we can afford to buy our own food, but maybe then they couldn't buy the tennis shoes. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that should be, like, people, that their money is tight, and they should be able to have tennis shoes, because they didn't have a lot of expensive clothes. Maybe their shoes were wearing out, and they needed new ones. So those type of people should be allowed to come to the soup kitchen. But that was letting me know. It was letting me know. Is that I don't really watch TV or anything. I don't know what kind of deals are going on at Skechers, but they do make good quality shoes. Cause like, I got a pair of tennis shoes there at the thrift store. They were Skechers work shoes, and they are just lasting and lasting. So I think their work shoes, they're just plain black. They're made to last a long time, so they're pretty well made. Let's see. So why was there the man kind of sitting next to me? Wasn't anyone else. It's like so everyone is an addict, so they're all influenced by spirits. So the spirits move them around to a desired location, and leave an opening here and have someone come in to try to get me. And then so many of them have tried now. At this point, it's ridiculous. So anyways, and then maybe this was just trying to annoy me and see if I would leave, not come back, or say something. And, I didn't really care too much. This man had his cell phone out, and it was like, the volume was turned all the way up, and they had some TV show on that, it looked kind of boring, but then they were cussing and stuff on it, but it was like a comedy show or something. And I didn't really care too much. But, this is nothing I've ever seen before. And of course, he's sitting right next to me while he's doing this. Well, he's 2 or 3 seats, maybe 2 seats over. 2 seats over. He's got his cell phone on real loud. And then I got up when they called seconds. Okay? Then I got up, or no, they didn't call seconds yet. So anyways, I got up to get a drink or something, and I don't know if they called seconds or not. So normally, he should have went out the left to get into the line. I came to the right to get more water first. So I think that's what they called seconds, and he was to the left of me. He should have went left, because that's where the line starts to get seconds. I went to the right to get a cup of water and then get in the line. So then, as soon as I push my seat out, then he follows me. So then when I go back to my tray, then he goes back to his seat right in front of me. And I kid you not, my seat was pushed out, because if we were getting seconds, he would have went the other way. Why would he go across my seat if it wasn't an attack? So this man did, is he didn't scoot my chair in, he went right in front of my seat and he rubbed his crotch across my coat. I swear to God, if he didn't do it on purpose, the spirits in him did. This is what these spirits are disgusting. So when the guy comes and he touches poop and wants to shake your hand, this is a demon. This is an enemy from the kingdom of darkness. So as he could have pushed my seat in, or my seat was out, he could have went the other way, which is the way the line is. No, he followed me. And then when I was turning around, so I just quickly got my drink. It was like less than 10 feet away. I got my drink. It was maybe like 7 feet away or something. Got my drink, turn around, and then I go back to my seat, and then he's right behind me. And so I can see him rub his crotch. Like, he's got his clothes on, but I'm still saying, like, he rubbed his crotch right across my coat that was hanging on the seat. And then he was playing this is what I mean. This was likely an attack. This is the type of... God doesn't let him actually kill me or anything, but these people are disgusting. And it's like when they work for the kingdom of darkness. That's just what happens. Let's see here. And then I didn't do anything. I just kind of ignored it. My coat already smells bad anyway, so whatever. But, it was just like... just something just disrespectful, like spitting in my face again. Then I noticed, then I ate all my food, I'm clearing on my plate, being polite, and then I got up to put my coat on when it was time to go, and then I turned and I kind of faced the door as I'm like zipping my coats off. They're kind of hard to get on, because I put this on underneath another coat, so it's kind of hard to pull the sleeves and get it zipped, so, just so I'm warm enough, I need 2 coats, and then I look, and then the man I saw at the church, the free breakfast at the church, the criminal man I'm talking about, the one that looked more evil than the others. I saw him like at the other side of the soup kitchen towards the door, and he was looking at me, and he looked a lot less evil. He was looking at me, and he was like a little bit evil, but a little bit like normal, like he was looking at me and like he was changing. Not right that moment, but like he couldn't, they didn't get me. He was there involved in this whole plot to get me. Drugging my coffee, and then they had a whole other thing planned if I went to this other church, And I did not go to it because of the plan. It might have been fun, but actually it was only right to go to the other one because I ate the breakfast there. So I ate the breakfast, and they actually mentioned most people only come to get the free breakfast and they don't come to the service. But, yeah, this criminal man, and I could tell he was, because he looked like he had been in prison, that type of... But then he was looking, and I was zipping my coat up, and I turned, and he's looking at me, and he's like half evil and like half normal human. But I will say, I bless the food in that kitchen. I bless the water. But then he also looked at me, and I was still there, and I was just fine. So, and it's not me, it's the Holy Spirit in me. And it's the Holy Spirit in the remnant, in all of Christ's followers. And actually, we are Christ's family. We are the... Once you go through the reforms in the process, and you've repented, then, you are Christ's family. You're not like groveling, Jesus doesn't want you to worship him. He's the example, and then we all emulate his example, and then we become like equals. That's what, Jesus wants friends and family, he doesn't want people like groveling and worshiping him. That's not what he wants. That's what the kingdom of darkness wants. And so then they give this to Jesus, and then they make the rules, and then it's so ridiculous what they do. It's nuts. So they say one thing and they do another. So you know it's from God, okay? It's not hypocrisy. you know, kingdom of darkness says one thing and does another. I have to make another video on this. What do the Pharisees do? They tell you to worship Jesus. This is what the Pharisees do. Listen. The Pharisees tell you to worship Jesus. While you worship Jesus, you're following their laws. But it's still like you're worshiping Jesus. And then the Pharisees are getting the fellowship. But the Pharisees don't want fellowship. They want worship. And Jesus doesn't want worship. He wants fellowship. So just think about it, people. Anyways, let's see here. I did not have dog leftovers. Let's see. I had a weird, since I just went to sleep when I got home, and then I got up, and you know, I was still awake, and then I just went back to sleep. So it was like 2 in the morning. I went back to sleep. I slept a whole bunch. I probably needed the sleep, but I had some weird dreams. I had a dream, with my mother, Jezebel, the man she married after she left my father. This was a supply, but he was not highly intelligent, so then he took some of his rage out on others and on me. But anyways, like, he wasn't my enemy, though, I would say. But there was another dream within it, and with him in it again, and it's like maybe I was teaching him something. I don't really remember, but the idea was like he was learning something from me in this dream. It wasn't like a classroom, just like he was learning something from me. Maybe how to behave or something, I don't know. But he really got screwed over. So I'm saying is he really got screwed over by Jezebel. He was stampeded, like he behaved wrongly and he got in trouble. That's good. But he got screwed over. What happened to him is horrible. Like he had his own place, and you know, and what he made was beautiful, but you know, it kind of got him isolated out in the middle of nowhere too, to move out to the country, and then certain things could happen, like he wasn't around his friends anymore, and you know, when he found out like the extent of what had been done, you know, he went nuts. But anyways, he was, and then I went back to sleep. Then I had another dream. And this was like an adventure, and it was almost like I was visiting at my grandmother's house or something, but it was a whole different house, but kind of the feeling of like her house when she was alive. She died several years back. And at one point, like earlier in the dream, I could hardly remember. I was like biking around, and I was going places. And then there was 2 other younger women. They were probably in their 20s or something, and they were with me. And you know, maybe they look kind of like the Kardashians. At least one of them did, but they weren't all dolled up. So just like if they had less, like hardly any makeup on, but kind of like that kind of look where they were part Spanish or something. But like we were there together, and I just thought they were like allies, or just, you know, people I kind of knew or something, but they weren't against me. So it was kind of strange that there was 2 other women there with me, and, you know, we were just doing stuff, and then we were at the house, and we went out, and then we at one point went to this, like, slum. I want to say, like, in Haiti, or, like, Peru or something, where it was kind of like a slum, and it was, like, this small house, so it was narrow, and it was, like, maybe 3 or 4 stories high. And the side was just open, and then there was like just like wide mesh, like rope across it, so things didn't fall out. Then there was stuff in other levels, and then there was like a weird sculpture. And then I saw my boombox. I got a few boomboxes I bought when I was still with the narcissist, and I had, like, they did pay the bills, so when I got some money, I bought like some old boomboxes because I enjoyed them. And they got a few issues that need fixed on them, but anyways, I saw the same one, and the power button just pushed in on this one. So maybe this was another attack, because I did let King Herod into my house. He probably could walk just fine when I wasn't looking, and went upstairs and pushed it in. I don't know. He probably broke it. I don't know. But it was working. Maybe he didn't. Maybe a demon came in my house, because it was working just fine. And then when I turned it off, it turned off just fine. So when I went to turn it on again, it was already pushed in, like, so I know that somebody else did this, because, like, when I last used it, it was fine. And, because I remember turning it off normally, and then the button came out, like, normal, like, it was just fine. Then, like, a month later, I go to use it or something. I don't remember, this was a while ago. And then the button is just pushed in all the way. So, like, somebody did this, and it was probably King Herod, who said he broke my fridge. He stole my dog collar. He was behind some of the things happening to me and tricking me, and good spirits manifested through him too, though. So, I mean, like thinking that I'm going to get my house done and we go and pick out stuff so that he can leave me disappointed. And then also, I did try to call him again once more, and he said, oh, and he was like kind of frustrated and busy, and I said, actually, like, just call me back when you have some free time. As far as I know, he never called back, but like he kind of, when he first answered the phone, he kind of was like, hello, or he seemed surprised I called. It kind of reminded me of Paul. Paul of Tarsus, same way. I called him after he exposed himself as a traitor. And he's like, oh, you still want me to come over? He was like happy. I still wanted him to come over. And then he said, oh, wife won't let me. He was like, kind of like, oh, he was happy I called him back. Same thing, so I think this King Herod, he was like, oh, happy I called him again because he didn't think I would. But then, that's it. We're done, I guess. Unless he decides to, unless something else happens, like if he repents or whatever. And, anyways, let's see here. Yeah, and this dream, and then it was weird. We were there. I saw the boombox. I really wanted to look at it because I had like the same one, but the button's broken on it. And here was another one. I was going to see, like maybe we were there because she was selling something and was going to ask about this. There's so much stuff went on. I wish I could remember it all. It's such a cool, fun dream. And anyways, let's see. Then we left. I never looked at it. It probably would have been cursed anyways. And I think the woman that was there that owned this house, maybe she was about the same age as the other two women that were with me. And I think there was maybe little toddlers in her house or something. It's a weird thing. And I remember being back at this house where I was visiting. And there was a couple rooms. Like, they were just laid out wrong so that you couldn't, like, sleep or anything. So I remember moving a chair, and then there was room to be comfortable in there. So, yeah, I specifically moved something. Then the next day, when I woke up, and I looked at the alarm. So maybe the alarm went off. I don't remember hearing it. I think one of these women was gone. And I don't know where she went. And then I went to ask the other, and I don't remember what she said. But, like, while I'm in my room, like, the chair I had moved is moving. Like, spirits, like, demonic spirits are moving the furniture and, like, harassing me. I'm not like, super afraid or anything. But they were moving the stuff in that room. Like, I was under spiritual attack. But then maybe I found out, maybe these two younger women that I thought were just other people that weren't against me, just left, and then I was under spiritual attack. Like, it might have been another betrayal. It might have been representing women or possible friends or something, and they didn't, it looked like they were there with me, and then one just left and didn't say goodbye, and then it acted like kind of weird, and then the other one confirmed like they were gone. But there was so much more, I can't even remember. So then, anyways, I got up, I had some time, I just went to YouTube, clicked on a couple videos that showed up right away, and then there was total truth in those videos. Like, absolutely. The spiritual warfare has been nuts, and it's saying why. And something else, and it's like, yeah, that message was true. Absolutely true. Now, I can't remember what it was now. If I go look at my history. But it was just what I needed to hear. Something where they see, like, with Job, something like kind of a Job anointing. They try to take you down, and then no matter what they do, they don't. And, like, I don't remember what the message of this was, but it's, like, causing them to come to some understandings. Let's see here. So today I was concerned. I went and I looked, and the dog feeder just had a few kibbles left. It was, like, empty. I'm like, oh, no. And so then, like, a couple weeks ago, or, like, last week when their dog food ran out, because I get their dog food auto-shipped. It's normally next day. But then last week, it took several days to arrive, longer, probably because of Christmas. And this week, it was late, too. It was supposed to arrive a couple days ago. It wasn't here again. So then last time, they gave me the number to call and ask. Like, because if you go to the soup kitchen, they give you a number to this charity place that where you can adopt pets. And then I was going to call them. Then I went outside, I don't know, to check the mail or something. And then I saw the dog food was there. I'm like, okay, so I didn't call them then. Well, then it was out again today. And so then I called today, and then they answered right away. And you know what? What they did, they delivered a bag of dog food to the pet store. Just like, I didn't say any of this. They said, And I said, I'm not in a good financial situation. I ordered some dog food and it's late. It's not here and I'm out. And they said, you just need like a day or two. I'm like, yeah. And so then, and I said, I'm on a bike. And I said, I don't have a car to go get some. And so anyways, they said, we'll put some here for you in the charity thing. And I said, okay, I'm a couple miles away and I'm going to bike there. And so then it turns out the place, this pet store, so basically they put the charity dog food at a pet store in the container. This was a wonderful blessing from God. They put the charity dog food aside, and they took down my name, and then they knew I was on a bike. So then this pet store happened to be right next to my gym. Okay, so actually it's on the same strip. There's like the gym, there's a Dollar Tree, there's Roses, and then there's this pet store. They're just right next to each other. And so then I kind of go up on my bike towards the door. They look and they see me and they come out with the dog food bag. I'm like, yeah, it was so nice. It was probably a 10-pound thing of dog food. God bless them. And then I dropped that dog food off at home. I still don't have anything in the mail. My dog food that I ordered has not arrived or anything. My dogs have food. I also had a little leftovers from the soup kitchen. I prayed God bless them so they don't be hungry. I don't want them to suffer. I want them to be happy. And also, my big thing of dog food did come in the mail later that day. When I got back from dinner, it was there. But it said it wouldn't arrive for another day or two, so I don't know. I didn't know. I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk them going hungry. So they blessed me. And I put them both in the feeder. The feeder is like topped up all the way to the max. But how nuts is this donation place? Then I was about to call, and then I went out front, and then I saw, just to check my mail or something, and then the dog food was there. So it wasn't there. I just got back. I fed the dogs leftovers. This was only a matter of a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so, go out front, and then it had been delivered. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to call now. And then this week, dog food's late again. And I called, and they put a bag there for me. This is so wonderful. It was so wonderful. And I brought it, my dogs are so happy. And maybe they like if it tastes a little different, you know. I'm not buying them the best quality food now. And I feel bad about it. No kibble's really good. But, like, I can't even afford my own food. I'm eating at the soup kitchen. A lot of the food's good. But, like, right now, they're working on cleaning up the food supply. So it's going to be good pretty soon. And we'll be okay for a little while. There's so much more that happened today. Let me, get my notes. And finish from there. Actually, I am going to make a part 2 on this video. I'm going to make a part 2. Okay?